Hey guys, I'm getting ready for bed, but I was just doing a quick little bit of schoolwork, and I was pleasantly surprised. My new phone came. Excuse me. This is my the 15 Plus. I turned it on, but I haven't had a chance to because I have to take the data off of this, and it's a whole process. But right now I was doing some schoolwork, right? And it hit me again about talking about quickly the millennials. Now, we talk bad about like each generation, and they say the reason why there's a lack of appreciation of generational differences, meaning each generation, is the scarcity of empirical research to validate the generational differences. So what that basically means is that it's like a lack of understanding generations. One of the things that I would say, hold on, this light is making me. One of the things that with the generations, the last generation, the millennials, not really the millennials, the Gen Zs, we complain that they don't care about nothing, right? As far as material or gaining money. What's good about that is that they're not in the matrix. That's the reason why they're not caught in the matrix. They're actually in reality. They're more in reality than Gen X, which is me, and baby boomers. Baby boomers were so far in the matrix that they was completely conformed to the bullshit. Completely conformed to authority figures and doing everything what they thought was considered the right way, doing everything by their book, the powers that be. And then I started listening to I'm so tired, I got so much on my brain, but that was just some stuff I just wanted to say real quick. Project 2025. I'm starting to see videos popping up about Project 2025. You notice how when each politician is asked about Project 2025, they all play stupid. Huh? What? I can't hear you. What you say? Oh, I never read Project 2025. How is that floating around where all these people wrote it, all these constituents? They said it was under this guy. Oh, I wrote it down. The Heritage Foundation, right? And it was under this guy named Joseph Coors, Edwin Fowler Jr., and Paul Weyrich. But I found it funny that Joseph Coors was the son of Adolf Coors, who runs that beer company, the Coors Brewing Company. And then they said their worth is $5.3 billion. So this all goes back to the powers that be. So if the people that wrote that Project 2025 is worth $5 billion, a lot of these politicians are funded by the 1%ers. So if that's the ideology that they're pushing, is to go back to the Project 2025 way of living, we're fucked. One of the things in there was about taking out loans, the loan repayments, no loan forgiveness. Like what I'm doing is called mental health. After I finish college, supposedly I should be able to wipe out some of my financial debt when it comes to school because of it's called public service. I'm doing public service by being a mental health provider. If Project 2025 gets passed, they're not going to give anybody loan forgiveness. So be careful trying to put your all in Trump or your all in Kamala or any of those fake ass politicians. Trump might get you some leadway, but if he's not backed up and the powers that be are telling him, listen here, you cannot pass that law to help the people, you need to pass this law, who you think he's gonna listen to? His allegiance is not to y'all. His allegiance is to his paycheck and who's paying him. I mean, I don't know how clearly I can say this, but it just seems like, especially with black people, it's like as long as we hear a hymn and a song and a dance, We just fall for the okie doke. We fall for the okie doke. As long as y'all know, presidents really can't do but so much. Obama fed us a lie. It was mad black men killed under Obama's watch. And he didn't do shit but sing Kumbaya. We shall overcome. We shall overcome one freaking day. And when is that day gonna come, sir? He went out of office in his cushy life, sleeping with boys probably, and we still over here singing hymns. Like, when are we gonna get it? No, let's just switch parties. If they're bipartisan, it's just like they're all gonna be in cahoots. Oh, they're gonna put that fake thing. Let's shut the country down because we can't agree right now. Congress is split. All these fucking games is getting on my nerves. It's getting on my nerves. The more I think about it, the more I get emotionally attached to watching these debates. It's just so fucking fake. Kamala got Oprah, who's a pedo, right? She got Oprah on her stage, giving her lines to say, probably got a little microphone in her ear and telling her, oh, don't say that. Say this. You know what I'm saying? And you got these fake celebrity feminist movement women, Julia Roberts. The more my eyes open, the more I just want to puke on all these people. You got to get to that point where none of that shit impresses you. None of the Trump speeches, none of the Kamala speeches, none of the Vance, none of them. None of them. They sound sweet until it's not sweet no more. Until one of your children get lynched and they're sitting up there talking about, oh, well, we'll pay for the coffin. That's when the shit hits the fan. You were like, oh, they really don't care. Until they send all your sons to the daggone war and bringing them back in body bags, that's when y'all gonna say, oh, this shit is fake. All of it is an illusion. All of it is a matrix. They're like, oh, Trump is the last Jesus Christ on the land. And I'm not saying nothing bad about Trump. I'm not. I'm just trying to get y'all to see it's deeper than that. The same way everybody was talking about this Puff scandal and talking about just the parties. And I'm like, it's more than that. They're running child trafficking rings all through these countries. The United Nations, all of them. All these countries. And I'm not talking about... I don't want to say specific countries, but y'all know what I mean, right? And they say it's, oh, we're going to flip it on just Puff Daddy. Well, who you think paid him to do it? They paid that man to make those pornos, and he has a sick fetish, and he said, okay, this right up my alley. They paid this man. They've been doing this for centuries. And we're sitting up here acting like just another day. Yeah, Trump got our back. And I know we're looking for a savior. I know we need a savior. Them days is over, honey. Them days is over. Y'all got to save yourself. Okay? Black men, you got to save yourself. There's nobody coming. White men too. Y'all sitting up here, oh yeah, Trump gonna give us a chance. You're still gonna be living out there in the poor cities in the South. It's nothing's changing. It's all an illusion. They're gonna give you some fake stipends and some fake little bit of houses, and it's gonna go back to the same bullshit where they're constantly ripping off your Constitution and you don't own shit. You don't own no piece of land, nothing. Then they take it back from you the minute you miss a payment. This is what it's about. This is what the United States of America was built on. Pillaging. And you still want to get your patriotic roots all up in here. I understand you saying it's the lesser of the two evils if we hire Trump. I get it. But at the end of the day, it is not saving anything. You could die here in this country. Do what you got to do if that makes you happy. But just understand you're leaving a generation behind. And you're going to be the ancestor that happens to have to explain that story as to why you left your generation in this freaking chaos without warning them, without giving them an inclination of what to do. As the Bible said, how it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Make no mistakes. This is all set by design. The millennials, the Gen Zs, and the techie generation, they understand what's going on. And you baby boomers, you Gen Xers, y'all need to take an assignment from their book. They don't give a flying fuck. And I don't mean it like, I be getting a little, my passion, it goes beyond me sometimes. The millennials, somewhat the millennials are still in the matrix a little bit, but the Gen Ys and the Gen Zs and the techie, the last generation now, they realize getting emotionally invested in the stuff that's going on this planet is a waste of time. They got done away with the pension plans. People were saving all their life, and poof. No one protested against it. No one asked any questions. What happens one day you wake up, all your Social Security benefits is gone? They say, oh, government ain't got no more. You're like, oh, that could never happen. Oh no, what? My constitutional rights. What the fuck is a constitutional right these days? Them people long gone, dead in the grave. You think they give a rat's tooty ass about a constitution? They'll find a way to switch around and go around the constitution and say that you getting your constitutional rights. Meanwhile, they disrespecting your constitutional rights. These people are the devil's gaslighters. They work for the devil. And they know how to gaslight people. Right now, you got to take a lesson out of the Gen Y books. Don't get too emotionally involved into the world economics. Do the best you can to save up. Do the best you can for your family to prepare. And do the best you can to get out of America. That's what I see in the next 5 years. The people that are here, like, they saving up, what? They saving up $300,000 to get a house. But you can't buy the house because you don't have $300,000. So you're buying the house at a fraction of the price, thinking you own it. So you're saving 10%, probably took you years to save that little $30K or whatever as an extra expenditure. Then you have to make sure you got money to pay the taxes. Because the taxes can go up and it can go down, but it usually goes up. So you're paying mortgage, taxes, all of these high interest rates. And in the Bible it says usury is a sin. In the Quran it says usury is a sin. You're paying all these asset interest and you still don't own the effing house. The minute you miss more than 2 payments, somebody coming to take the shit from you. How can this be normal? How can this be normal life? When you could take that same $30K that you saved, take your ass to another country, find out how to get the visas and all of that, and make your money grow where you could actually own some shit. I don't care if you got to build you a freaking 1-bedroom hut. And you call that the best thing you ever owned because it's yours. Live somewhere by a nice little beach, a nice little lake, and enjoy life. You can be canoeing every day, ain't got to be worrying about no sheriff knocking on your door, talk about, we coming to repossess your shit. You ain't paid for your car, we coming to take that too. You want to have this fancy car that you cannot afford. It's starting to get sickening now. That's why these kids is like, what? I ain't going to work. For what? The boss don't like me. They finna fire me any day now. You be working for like 6 months, and because you're 1 minute late, you on a chopping block. If that ain't motherfucking slavery, what the fuck is? What the hell is? YouTube channels can get cut at any day. You could wake up one day and say, oh, why has my channel been taken from me? They about to cut off TikTok. People making money off of TikTok. Y'all better start saving that shit, because you don't know when that shit gonna get cut. Nothing here in the United States people own. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. They could take it from you at any given moment, and you will have nothing. And you know why you'll have nothing? Because everything is exploited in price. So the money that you end up saving, you're spending it when you lose your job or you lose your business, because that's what it's all about. Rinse, repeat, recycle. Rinse, repeat, recycle, right? They do this to everybody. They got, oh, we got a fresh new slave at 19. Remember how you used to feel when you were 19? You go out in the world like, oh my God, I got my first job. This is my first paycheck. I'm going to be somebody. Oh, right. I remember those days. I'm walking down the street, my cute little heels, thinking life is bliss. I mean, the money did go a little further back then, but then you start to see the real. Your boss is getting an attitude because you look too cute, or you look too happy, or you came in a minute late, or you didn't satisfy this naggy customer. It just never ends. And then you start to realize, wow, this shit was all fake. This is not me being doom and gloom. I'm actually happy. I'm happy that God opened my eyes. Because if he didn't open my eyes, I will get more and more sucked in, and I'll be more and more depressed. Because I'll be like, oh my God, how am I going to fight my way out of this, right? But I realize the game now, and I don't fall for it anymore. I'm not impressed. I'm more impressed by genuine people, genuine relationships. If I make money along the way, perfect. That is another thing that God will bless me with, abundance. I rather the abundance that comes from nature, natural sources, than the abundance that they give me where there's a price attached to it, which is your soul or anything else that you're not willing to compromise. You see what I'm saying? You got a majority of these women out here, especially I'll say minorities, selling their body parts. You know, they're on these websites selling their most intimate possessions, you know, like to the highest bidder. Some selling it in person. And you know, you got to do what you got to do. But this is what this society has brought us to become. We sell our soul just to survive. And then we try to say we're happy. No. It's not the way God intended. And the more people that are waking up and they want to get out the matrix, that's when it's going to become an anarchy. People not going to want to listen to the government no more. They're going to want to do their own thing. But here in America, they're not going to let you. Try to pull up and start having a garden, and your whole neighborhood start growing some shit and selling it to one another. They'll shut your shit down. That whole block going to prison. They'll start talking about some zoning laws, or they'll find something wrong with the vegetables you grew and say it's poisonous, and just all kind of shit. They'll even fly by at night and put some stuff in the grass and make people get sick off of it and say that you unalived the neighbors when they did it. You're dealing with a demonic system, and you're trying to have all these ties with them. Oh, I gotta have a business. I gotta open up a business. For what? For what? You're trying to compete with a beast that don't want you to compete with them. There's a reason why it was set up like this. It's a test. It's a test to your spiritual nature. So what happened was, you got tested, you failed, you sold your soul, and now you're back to square one, being grateful that you have a chance to get some level of yourself back, right? You got a chance to, let's say you went into the music business and somehow you didn't go all the way left with it. And you say, wow, God gave me a chance to really do this thing again. or you were selling drugs, you got locked up. You got out and you're starting your life all over again. Don't you notice that now when you see things from a different light, because now you're in reality. You're in reality. It's just you in that prison cell, or you in that zero bank account. And it's just you dealing with you now. Not the fake persona, not pretending to be somebody else, not trying to fit in. It's just you now, right? How does that feel? How does it feel? It feels better. After going through all the ups and downs and realizing this shit is all fake, God gave me another chance to do it right this time. Ain't you a little more grateful for the small things that you considered small at that time, when you realized it was actually a resource that no one can take from you? You got to be appreciative. You got the experience of seeing things on the other side. You got to live in a big mansion, or you got that new car, or you got that banging girlfriend, or that banging guy that you've been eyeing for whatever. You got all of that. And they were all based off of evil intent. You lost some shit. They broke your heart. They robbed you. They raped you, whatever. But you got out of there. You survived. And now you're back to square one. How does it feel? It feels like reality, right? Reality came, smacked you up, woke you up. That's what the new generation is already here dealing with. They understand the assignment, and we got to give them more credit. We can't force them into our matrix. They don't give a damn about it. They realize it's fake. That's why they can go on a computer and play Sims all goddamn day, because they know that's the same thing we're doing in real fucking life. It's playing what's that shit with the M? not Mortal Kombat, the other one where they build houses. I can't remember, but it's one of those games that the kids play, and they build houses and they make a fake life. It's like a Sims. They realize they're living in a real matrix, and we are the NPCs in the matrix. So when they're looking at you and you don't see them really, they're technically NPCs too, but they've signed up for the assignment. They understand the assignment. They understand, okay, I'm the NPC. Mommy wants me to get up, go to school, go to work, come home, cook the food. They understand it. And they said, okay, if this is the role you want me to be, Ma, you want me to sign up for the Matrix, Ma, okay, fine. But then you're like, why you don't have no passion? Why you always unhappy? Why your face look like that? Because you made me a robot. So why would I have a passion about it? You're the one asleep. You're the one faking it. You're the one don't realize you're in the matrix. That's why you wake up all fake about it. Oh, I'm so happy to have this job. Oh, yeah, right. You're in a toxic relationship and you're bragging. Oh, my man, I got a ring. Oh, he loves me. Meanwhile, he's sleeping with everybody out there. He's probably undercover. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the fellas. You have 6 and 15 bitches and you can't get it right with one. But everybody else is the goddamn problem. It's like, we got to wake the fuck up out of this matrix. And I liked in the movie that he had found that girl, and I remember his name now, Keanu Reeves. And he was dating the other lady in the Matrix. I like the fact that they were both understanding the Matrix. They both understood the assignment. It wasn't like he had to be dating some woman who's in Delulu land, buying pretty bags and pretending life is great and getting her highlights done, while he's over here fighting the real fight. And then every time he comes home, he has to put on a fake smile because she's delusional. I like the fact that that whole bunch of them was supportive of one another, and they understood what they were dealing with. Even though there were some traitors in the group, they still understood the assignment. You see what I'm saying? And remember one of the traders, I think it was a short black guy, he couldn't take the Matrix no more. I mean, he couldn't take the real life no more. He wanted to go back into the Matrix, and he betrayed them because he was like, I don't care if it's a fantasy. It felt good, right? That's how a lot of these guys are living right now. They're like, well, I don't care if it's fake, delusional life. I don't care if she doesn't love me. I don't care as long as she fakes it. As long as she pretends she's submissive, I'm okay with being in a fake relationship. I'm okay. It's just like, what are we dealing with? What are we really dealing with? Now, you know, the sun go down and the other side of me come out. The Scorpio that's really intense, that I'm just going to say straight shooter. And not saying I wasn't being straight shooter earlier, but I was kind of like finessing my words. But that was something that I think I left out. Sorry, my nose is dripping. That was something that I left out when I was talking about the younger generation. How each generation, if you notice, we get more and more aware. So even though the baby boomers was like, Jesus loves me, yes, I don't care if I'm a slave, but I love the Lord. You know, they used to go to church every Sunday, and the pastor was touching on their babies while they over there, I'll give away all my money to the church, right? Now, I'm not knocking the churches, you know what I'm saying? But we got some crooked ass churches out here. They was getting billions and billions of dollars off the people and molesting the people, and we acting like we don't see what's going on. And then your children looking at you side eye like you was an idiot. You was a whole idiot up in this piece. You're worshiping the pastor and not the real God, okay? So now the generational X comes along, us. We're a little bit more realistic, but we're still delusional. We're still delusional. And then the last generation coming like, you've been working at that job how long, Ma? 40 years. How much you saved? I'm bragging. Oh, I got this 401k, you know, I got like 30,000, I got like 20,000, you know, I'm balling. Ma, if I divide 40 years by 20,000, that's a couple of cents, Ma. You could have saved that on your own, Mommy. Why you gotta be so rude? Don't talk to your mother like that. I'm just giving you the facts, Ma. Now you want me to go work for that company? Fuck out of here. No. I'm gonna go do some YouTube, do a couple of flips, make a couple of beats, and make 20 times as you in one day. Okay? So miss me with all your stupid shit. So this is what we're dealing with. We taking away these young kids' drive by making them conform into robots, and then we get mad that they have a different ideology, and we call them entitled. They're not entitled, they're wise. They just don't want to say it to us that we're the stupid ones. I'm sorry to say it like that. I'm sorry. They just look at us like we're the idiots. Now, they may be lacking some spirituality. Of course, they may be lacking some wisdom. And then you have those unique parents that will instill that into the last generation. If you find a last generation that really have the whole package, that is a rare gem. That is a rare gem. But the stuff that comes out of my son's mouth, it's definitely an eye-opener. He's like, well, what's the point? I used to be like, why are you so cynical? And he's like, call it what you want, Ma, but what's the point? Why do people even get all dressed up to go to a stuffy office? What is the point? And he says it like that. I'm like, I hate listening to you. I'll say it to my mind like, but when I ponder on what he's saying, I'm like, he's right. He's absolutely right. So we have to start thinking of things in a different perspective now. If you want to be happy in the Matrix, that's fine. But understand you're playing a game called Sims. So play the game, but when it's time to tap out, you know the assignment. Stop treating this like it's real. They haven't given you anything from the time you've been born to today, you've been cattle to this particular society. And that's why people are losing it. Because they now waking up saying, oh my effing goodness, I really thought this was an American dream. That's why they're going crazy. When I see the prices of bread and stuff like that, I'm not even surprised. I'm just like, okay, this is another day in hell with these people, because this is what they have been doing for centuries. We're just now waking up because it's hitting us a different kind of way. But I've always known that this was going to happen. I've always been talking about getting out of America. I've always been saying things. Now, my narcissistic mom, she made the move to get the hell up out of here. She's in Africa. But I don't know where I'm going to move to. I was going to go to Trinidad next year in the summer and visit and see if I can hook up with some of my old folks, my granddad, if he's still alive, and start looking at maybe some property there. But I definitely have some plans, and I don't want to spend 30, 40K saving up to go spend it and buying a house in America. I do not want to buy a house in America. I've already made up my mind. I don't want to buy a house in America. I don't. If I met a husband and he has a house and he's like, okay, listen, we could, be landlords, and you could sell this property or rent it out to somebody, and we go live in another country, I'm not spending the rest of my life here in America. I'm not. If I have to stay here for whatever reason, I have to just be pretending. I have to understand that this is just a simulation, and at any moment I can wake up, time to move on to the next portal. After the pandemic, they put us in another portal. Now we're in the tech portal. Everything is going to be robotic now. But we already knew this was coming. They was talking about this about 8 years ago. I don't know why people acting brand new, because now they got the robots doing everything. This was something they been told y'all they was going to do. It's just that the thing about humans is that we like to pretend. We like to be in cognitive dissonance, so that it doesn't become like so hard to swallow, like it's such a hard pill to swallow, that this time has came and it's actually reaped its ugly head and it's here. And we're like, how did I get here? They've been telling us they was finna do this. These new phones that I'm bragging about, these phones, this is gonna be your ticket to hell if you don't wake up. My next thing is to buy a flip phone. You gotta have these old school stuff. When they shut the grid down, there is no buttons on this phone. How you gonna dial anybody? You don't even have a two-way radio. You don't even have a walkie-talkie, nothing. When they decide to shut this grid down, how you gonna get in touch with your families? How you gonna know where your family's at? Do you have a code word? Do you have an emergency code word that you can tell your family members? Have you prepared for anything? I shouldn't be the only one thinking about this stuff. It's just sad. You know why it's sad? Because when this stuff hits the fan, majority of people are going to panic and they're going to become evil. And I don't want to be around that. When they start looting and rioting and fires and all that, I don't want to be around that. I'd rather try to help people wake up so that we can all work together. And you should be telling your friends and your friends' friends and your children's friends, we should all be in this together. I know YouTube don't like people talking about this type of stuff. But we're out of psychology for right now, and we talking about some real, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got to start saving your coins, finding out how much is the conversion rates in other countries, finding out what is the process to get the visas. At least with me, I was born in another country. It'd be easy for me to get over there. But let's say I want to go from Trinidad to maybe Puerto Rico or something. Or I know Switzerland ain't taking no black people, but I'm just saying. Certain European countries that we don't know about, but they say stay away from the European countries when the mark of the beast comes full blown. But what about those small little pockets of countries that we sleep on? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's Maui, whatever. But have you been like me? I'm always online looking at conversion rates for different countries and stuff like that. And how far does that actual conversion rate go? Because you can have $1 here, and in one country that $1 could be considered $1 million, and you're like, oh my God, $1 million. And then you find out a bag of bread is $1 million. Your conversion rate didn't go very far. Because in Trinidad, my conversion rate don't go that far. So if I'm making like 10K here, in Trinidad, that's 70K. But in Trinidad, that Trinidadian 70K will still be considered maybe 40K out of the 70K to have a good life. So you're really only like $5,000 over the average. You're not really $30,000 over the average. So the conversion rate is not telling you if you're going to make it. It's the cost of living in that country that will tell you if that conversion rate is worth it. So that little 20,000, 10,000 in Trinidad may only get me for about last me 6 months. Then I have to have a plan. I have to be working. I have to figure something out. So you got to know these things. If you go to, like, let's say Mexico, and your little 10,000 got you 2 years worth of convenience. After the 2 years, how is the job market? If the job market is trash and you got to sell some Badissi, what you going to do after the 2 years? So these are things that we have to think about now while the traveling is not so bad. My daughter went to exchange her ID card, and she had to get the enhanced state ID. So now they putting all these things on the ID cards, because when shit hit the fan, that's how they're gonna track you. Those enhanced IDs and enhanced passports, that's how they're gonna track you. So when they put travel bans and you can't travel no more, what you gonna do? So while you have that freedom to move about and they're not stopping your constitutional rights at this very moment, that is the time to plan. You don't wait till shit hits the fan and then you're scrambling like, oh my God, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? If you're making decent money right now and you don't own a home, you're probably in a good spot right now. That's the time to use that money, save up, and bounce in the next couple of years. If you ain't got no kids and no husband, no wife, no nothing holding you back, beautiful story for you. Beautiful story for you. I ain't got no kids holding me back no more. My daughter says she wants to come with me, but now she got a whole boyfriend. He may not want to leave, but he's from Africa. He might be able to get her some visas, marry her, and take her to his country. But me, I'm finna start traveling. I'm only 50. I still got by the grace of God, I still got some good years ahead of me to find some nice little tropical island and live my best life, honey. Okay? And I'm just saying, I know people really love America. I know some of these third world countries ain't where it's at, but when stuff hit the fan, you're going to wish you was there. You ain't going to be complaining about no Wi-Fi. You're going to be glad just to have your life. Maybe Wi-Fi is not the best thing to have when you're trying to get your life and your mind right. Maybe you need to start learning how to do arts and crafts and really experiencing life off of social media. What you need Wi-Fi for? It's a big-ass matrix. If you want a beautiful tropical island, because you remember, I'm old school. I'm from the 80s where we had to put the freaking antenna as a hanger inside the back of our TV just to get a little reception. We ain't even know what the fuck, what was Wi-Fi? We ain't had no Wi-Fi. We did not have no Wi-Fi in the 80s and 90s, honey. That's some new shit. It started in the late 90s, in the mid 90s. The people that finally got the Wi-Fi was the ones that had good money. Because you had to get that whole internet package and the cable and all the other stuff just to get a little bit of reception. We had the flip phones and the beepers. I come from that era. You want to talk to somebody, you press 911 on the beeper. And if they got your address or whatever, you got a meetup spot or secret spot, whatever, you meet up and you find out what the hell happened to that person. But it gave you creativity, other ways of being communicating, other ways of being discovered. That's why people were super talented back then. Singers were beautiful singers back then because they had none but time other than just working on their craft. Now you got auto-tune. Something could make you sound like you could sing, and then you go see them in live in concert and they sound like a cat crying. I mean, we came a long way. But we came a long way to be destructive. But if you had to move to another country with no Wi-Fi and you got nothing but beautiful scenery and beaches and great food and nice people, what the fuck you need Wi-Fi for? I mean, unless you're working, you know what I'm saying? But if you're saying, oh my God, I got to get on social media, for what? Now, I understand if it's your job, that's different. But I'm saying if you have everything in front of you, decent people, good food, nice beaches, decent housing, you can own some shit, what do you need Wi-Fi for? You go out, you mingle with your, your age group or whatever. You get into some type of craft, whatever you're good at. If you like drawing, like I like oil painting, I can go to an oil painting seminar. I'm into education. I can go to a book seminar. There's so much things you can do outside of Wi-Fi. So you complain about third world countries, but these people are happy. They got smiles on their face, like from real happiness. Because they're intermingling with one another. They got real food. The food is not poisoned. I'm not talking about the third world countries that's been under attack. So don't try to be funny coming in the comments. Well, if you don't like America, get out. It's just always these stupid comments. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm talking about when America has finally ran out its course, exploited all the resources, the dollar value goes down, everything is cryptocurrency, you can't buy nothing, the food is poison, Listerine, what is it? It's some type of bacteria they got now coming out. Every time you turn on the news, it's in all the food. It's in the watermelon, it's in the cheese, it's in the turkey meat, it's in the beans, it's in the milk, it's in the vegetables. It's like, they don't even want you to become vegetarian. They just want you to croak. So if they put in that listeria germ and the salmonella germ in all the food, and I think that's how I got that bacterial, that UTI from the food I was eating on the road. Because you don't know what you're eating. You buy some chicken from Walmart, you don't know how old that chicken is. They cover it with some pink stuff to make it look like it's fresh and it's been probably turned green 2 weeks ago, and they resell it. Now your guts is inside out. You don't know. My mother told me when I was young I wasn't allergic to milk in Trinidad. But when I came to the United States, all of a sudden I became allergic. If I drink milk, I will be on that toilet screaming for the Heavenly Father. It's something that they're putting in the foods. So all you fake patriotic people that's like, oh, America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, you need to wake the fuck up. They done lied to your ass. We're all stuck here right now. I understand that. It's not that easy to travel. So yeah, I might be able to talk shit right now. But at the end of the day, I'm actually manifesting. So it's not just me talking. I'm manifesting. This is a vision that I've been had. I already told my kids when they were 5. We looked at a globe and we was like, we're leaving. By the hook or the crook. And they still remember those stories. They would go to my mom's house and be like, we're moving to Africa. And my mom would be like, what? Be like, mommy said we're moving to Africa. And she'd be like, your mom crazy. And look at that. 15 years later, she's gone to Africa. Manifestation. You don't know when it can come. You just know, okay, this is the vision I see. You don't let nobody take your vision away. If that's something you see, you stick to what you see. If America's your home and you love America, good for you. If you want to die for your country and you say, you know what, I want to be here, I want to die for my country, will they die for you? Will they die for you? The reason why you're dying for them is because they probably unalived your ass. So do what makes you happy. But I'm going to just bring you the real of what is really going on. There is a way out. God always gives us a way out. It's just that we have to pay attention to the signs. If you're half asleep, if you're clubbing, if you're drunk all the time, you're high all the time, you're arguing all the time, you will miss the sign when it's time for you to go. Everybody's going to go at they ordained time. You don't move before it's the time. You will know when it's time. But you will not know if you're not having your street eyes on. You gotta pay attention. When you get that little ticket out, when you start seeing these cruises on the TV and you start looking good to you, that might be an indicator that you're becoming interested in getting the hell up out of here. You come into some big money and you're like, damn, what am I gonna do with this money? Instead of buying real estate here, take your ass overseas. Everybody that has a brain is going overseas now. Before it was called a passport bro movement, a passport hoe movement. That was probably the way to get us to see something is out there versus here. And they went about it the wrong way, but they may have had a point. You see what I'm saying? Everything happens for a reason. Sometimes he might send the idiots first on the front line to show you something. So some of them guys, they went out there and they thought they was going to use up other people's women, and they got the behind sent to them in a body bag, right? We're not going out there for that reason. People can tell when you're just naturally a tourist, just coming out there trying to bring good to their society. They don't need you coming there like a migrant, pillaging and unaliving their babies and children and women, and raping their women and molesting and touching all. They don't need that shit in their country. They got enough problems to deal with. So the fact that some of these men went out there with that attitude, God gave them a lesson. But it opened up the regular people's eyes to see, okay, maybe there is a better life outside of America. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes he can bring a good situation out of a bad because he's trying to show you a point. And he might need to use some idiots to get that point across to you. Because you got some idiots in the bunch that do some real stupid ass shit. Why would you go to another country to grape on somebody's woman or to spread STDs? Well, why would you do that? Men have been doing this for centuries. Going across seas, you know, the military men. Now, the military men, I can understand that. You're serving somebody's country and now you're stuck in this country. You ain't got no way out. So you got to make the best of wherever you're at. I get it. I understand. I get it. Some of them marry these women. I get it. I'm with you on that one. But I'm talking about these broke jokes who run across the seas to make it bad for other Americans to get over there and start a life. You done made it bad for the rest of us. You idiot. And this is what I mean about idiocracy. You do these things that make it bad for society to progress. So hopefully, within the next 5 years, I want to see, I forgot the word they call it when you go to another country. An expiat. I want to see more expiats where we get out of here and we have a good story to tell. There was a lot of bad stories in the last 2 years of people going to certain parts of Africa and getting scammed out of land. People coming up missing, you know, and these are decent people just trying to get a life started. So, you know, hopefully we, you know, those stories are not going to be too many, right? I'm sleepy. We got to find countries that welcome us, that want our money, want whatever knowledge we can bring. You got situations where you can teach people English. It's called the ESOL program or something like that. It's online. where you can teach people in Korea and Japan and stuff like that English, and they give you a stipend and they let you stay in their country. You know what I mean? So you got to get creative. You got to get creative with this shit if you really want to find a different way. That's the vision I see for my life. I don't know about y'all. I want to work here for a couple more years, save up my money, but I'm not buying a house in America. I've already made up my mind last year. I said if I find somebody that wants to marry me and he's still here in this country, that's going to be a conversation me and him need to have. Like, are you willing to leave here at least within 5 years? Max 8. Because I'm not trying to be here in my 70s. You know how hard it is to live in America? I'm not trying to be here in my 70s. I'm not. So that's all I have to say. Y'all know I just be joking, so don't take my little insulty stuff too serious. I just be joking. So you know I love y'all. And y'all have a good night. Be safe out there if you're on the road. And y'all have a good night. Bye.